watching Your High School Sports.
Welcome to Your High School Sports. It's playoff time, third round, guys, this week. Chris Blevins is off this week, and Jake's sitting in his seat, along with Chris Reddick. We're talking playoffs. Jake, what's happening in Southwest Virginia?
Well, right now we got a lot going on. I know it's getting into their second round of playoffs this week. First off, looking at George Wythe. They face Narrows this week. George Wythe coming in at 8-2 right now. Narrows at 11-0. George Wythe, though, got some spectacular offensive players and a 1,000-yard receiver and a 1,000-yard rusher as well, and a 2,000-yard quarterback so far in Cole Simmons. But Narrows also big time on the defensive side. They've had 5 shutouts so far this year, and I think it could be a very good matchup with those pitted against each other, with a fantastic defense for Narrows against that offense for George Wythe. And then going on to Region 1D, Holston and Patrick Henry. Holston coming in at 7-4 right now, guys, and then Patrick Henry obviously rolling along at 11-0 right now. Patrick Henry got a 42-13 win over Holston in the regular season, so obviously the Cavaliers trying to overcome that this time around. They got a 29-15 win over Eastside last week, and guys, that was really big for them. They're coming in with their first playoff win since 2009 last week. So Holston really riding high right now, and we'll see if they can upset Patrick Henry in this third round. But then also looking at Chalawi and J.I. Burton, both of those teams 9-2. Chalawi got the win over J.I. Burton by 21 earlier this year, so obviously that should be a big matchup coming up this week in the Commonwealth. And then also looking at Region 2D down there in the Graham G-Men as they take on Union. Both of those teams 9-2 as well. It's the 4th playoff clash between these teams in the past 5 years.
Ooh, sounds
so
like
a really big game down there in Virginia. And then also ending up with Wise County Central and Ridgeview, both of those teams 9-2 as well. The winner going to advance to their region championship for the first time in program history. So a lot on the line for both of those teams.
Sure is. Good running back at Ridgeview.
They do. They do. And Trenton Adkins. So we'll see if he can do some damage this week.
Hey, it sounds like pretty good football up there in Southwest Virginia.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move into Tri-Cities.
Tri-City is just like bowling. They're falling down like pins.
But
we have
It's
2
like dominoes.
pins. Yeah.
Let's go.
There's 2 pins remaining, one of them being the Dobbins-Bennett Indians. And Mr. Joey Christians, he has turned that program around from last year. I believe it's just a simple problem of them buying into his program, which obviously it's shown
Now,
that
wasn't
they
he a
have.
college teammate of yours?
Yeah, back at ETSU.
Okay.
Yeah. Joey Christian, he played high school. He played volunteer.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, we played ETSU together. He was lineman. But he's got his team rolling and had a great big time win over Knox Bearden. Now, the reason why I say it's big time because this is what really counts, even though they defeated him once early in the regular season. But this is when it counts. Bearden, of course, came out, looked like it was going to kind of be a blowout with Bearden.
Yeah.
But that defense that Dobbins-Bennett has, which they have a shutdown defense, they've only given up probably no more than under 50 points the whole season. And they just seemed to turn things around in that second half, put up 21 unanswered points, ended up beating them 28-14. Still was kind of listened to that one on the radio towards the end after that Elizabethton win, which I'll talk about in just a second. And still Bearden, they were a little bit afraid because of the quarterback. Was Ironside.
Yeah.
They were still a little weary that he still could make some magic happen because he's done it before. But they were able to hold him down, shut him down, get the win, and advance to, of course, play Maryville. But they're going to host them at home. But the game we want to talk about, yes, sir.
I was just going to say, going off that, you really do have to, especially with that Bearden program, you do have to feel for Colin Ironside because I know he missed a good part of this year with some injuries as well for Bearden.
Yeah, well, they like I said, they were scared even to the end, even though they had a 2-point or 2-touchdown lead. But this leads into the big game that I'm going to talk about one side of it. I know Jake's going to talk about it a little bit.
I know he is.
But I just want to let you know, I've seen an Elizabethton team like no other this year. Now, they had a
Still not going
rematch
to get over the hump.
against Sullivan South. We'll hold that thought. They had a rematch against Sullivan South. If you remember, they had a little trouble. Had to come down to the last field goal, or excuse me, not a field goal, just an extra point. But Elizabeth was fortunate enough to block it.
I remember that.
Well, let me tell you, just within 2 weeks, this Elizabethton team, you would have thought Sullivan South did not even exist. From the beginning, as soon as I'm going into the stadium, touchdown, Elizabethton. I get in the stadium, get set up, another touchdown, Elizabethton. Of course.
So you missed 2 touchdowns?
No. I got the second one. I'm just saying, once I set up, I got the second one. But guess who's back in the news?
Yes, we know. Parker
Hughes back in the news, and let me tell you, this guy showed out for sure. He's like, it's not like I was even going, guys. I wasn't hurt, but let me tell you what I'm going to do. You got Bryson Rollins, who's a finalist for Mr. Tennessee and
Mr. Football.
Mr. Football, excuse me. And nothing but a 95-yard pass from Rollins to Parker Hughes, the man in the news.
Okay.
Of course, he gets another touchdown a little bit later. Actually, I think he got 2 more. Of course, Rollins also likes to spread the ball around. Hartley got a touchdown. Holly, I like to call him Hollywood, he got a touchdown. So this team, 49-7, is the team that's going to be ready to host what Jake's about to talk about a little bit later.
Hold that thought right there, because I got to talk to Coach Dan Hammonds. I got something too with what you're going to say. But hey, you make sure you stay right here. When we come back, we're going to discuss brackets right here, because there are 2 games, Central and South Dog. I've had a chance to talk to both coaches. Another rematch, like you were talking about. A lot of rematches up in Southwest Virginia.
There are.
A lot of rematches in Tennessee. We come back here in Your High School Sports, powered by Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge and Highway 66. We're coming right back.
Stay tuned for more of Your High School Sports.
I need your trade. I need your trade. I need your trade. I'll tell you what, look at my lot. It's getting empty. That's because we've been selling a ton of vehicles. Make the short trip to Baca Bernard. I need your trade. That means I'm going to put some dinero, some cash, lots of money in it. I'll tell you what, with your trade being worth what it is and the extra trade-in rebates, you can save up to $7,500 on a brand new 19 Cadillac XT5. Make the short trip to Baca Bernard, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, right here in Greenville, where as always, I'm going to save you money.
Just look at all those freshly made Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sure it makes you want 1 or a dozen right now. So come visit our locally owned and operated Krispy Kreme donuts in Pigeon Forge. Our Krispy Kreme donuts are made fresh daily, our service is fast and friendly, and the taste will put a smile on anyone's face. Krispy Kreme is a fundraising favorite, so call us today to help support your school or community fundraising efforts. Our delivery truck is there when you need us. Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge.
You are watching Your High School Sports, the source for football in the Southeast. Powered by Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge and on Highway 66 in Sevierville. Here is your host, Roddy Woods, along with co-host Chris Blevins, Chris Reddick, and Jake Nichols.
Welcome back to the playoff edition of Your High School Sports, round 3. Let's see what's going on around the rest of the state of Tennessee.
Well, right now, I know I got to see a very big game last week, talking about the other half of that big game this week between Greenville and Elizabethton. I got to see Greenville as they took down Anderson County this past week, 24-7. Now, to start the game, there were a couple of big gimmicks that Anderson County had going for them, specifically with what they like to call the greatest show on turf.
Okay.
Guys, there's video coming up with it as we get started here, but you can see as they come out of a little like barn structure, coming out onto the field, arm-in-arm fireworks going off, wielding just sledgehammers. They've got Trojan masks. They've got neon lights behind them, so it was an electric atmosphere as we got started with this playoff game last Friday at Anderson County. And then even with the kickoff, they have a dog, Anderson County. Her name is Ella, and after every kickoff for the Mavericks, she runs out to get the kickoff tee and comes back to the sideline.
Can I ask you a question?
What's that?
How many times she went out?
That's what I was about to get into, because as cool as their intro was, and as electric as that was, and as cute as she is on the sideline, and I got to pet her several times, but as awesome as all that was, Greenville still dominated throughout the actual
That's why he was
game.
petting her, because he never got back in the game.
back on the field.
So
you gonna get back in action?
So big shout out, even with all of Anderson County's gimmicks, Greenville able to come out with a big win, and you know it was a big one for them, 24-7. I know that they had a big showing all across the field. They had a special teams touchdown They had one on defense as well whenever they had a pick return for a score. And then even with Will Albright, one of their big seniors, coming up big time with a catch that made the score 21-7 and really put that game out of reach. Had a fantastic catch there. And then, as always, Ty Youngblood, one of their big stars at running back, carrying the load all night for them and just hammering it home as they get going this week toward Elizabethton.
Is he still a Furman commitment?
Yes, he is.
Okay. What's going on?
And a great guy to talk to as well. I got to talk to him after the game Friday, and just always people. So respectful and really, really nice to talk to.
Well, he told you up front, don't put that
ball. He did. I asked him about that Friday night, and I said, Ty, when I talked to you in the preseason, you told me that you didn't want the state championship trophy from last year in the background of that because you're focused on right now. How much does that apply even more in the playoffs? And he said, it's big time. We take every day, and Hammond said this when they were closing out the huddle after the game, we take every day, go 1-0. That's what we're trying to do right now, and that's what we're looking to do this week. That's our only goal. Season, right? And guys, you've got to do that in the playoffs. You've got to do it every week and just be able to renew that.
1-0. That's what he told me when we talked earlier.
Yep.
1-0. That's all we're looking for. 1-0. What's happening in Chattanooga?
Well, there's a lot going on down there as well, some of which I'm going to get to see this week.
That's right.
McCallie right now, the biggest news out of that region, got a 28-6 win over Christian Brothers last week, and this week they face Innsworth. The Tigers last week beat Briarcrest in overtime down in Memphis by 2, and I know Brian Stewart, the Briarcrest head coach, had to be disappointed after that loss for his team, obviously, fighting hard throughout the year. But it's going to be the second showdown of the season between McCallie and Innsworth.
Another what are we talking about?
Yep.
Another rematch.
And guys, we're seeing a lot of those with these great teams across the area. So in the regular season, Innsworth pulled it out by 4, 33-29. But this time, being at McCallie, it's going to be a big rematch, especially with guys like Jay Hardy on the defensive line for McCallie, and then Keyshawn Lawrence, that running back for Innsworth that's committed to Tennessee. And then also in Chattanooga, looking at the Baylor Red Raiders. Now, I know Chris and I were talking earlier. If you saw Saturday night, the Baylor Bears allowed a 25-point comeback from Jalen Hurts and the likes of the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, the Baylor Red Raiders have not had that much good luck either. They lost 12-7 to Montgomery Bell Academy, which moves on to face Memphis University School. Next week. And then, of course,
Memphis University beat
Knoxville Catholic.
Right.
I know that had to be a really hard game for them too, with guys like Cooper Mays and then Jack Jancic near the end there with that turnover. But so a big win for MUS coming out of this week over Knoxville Catholic. But then going on down to the rest of the Middle Tennessee area, we're also looking at Loudon right now out of Chattanooga. They're 12-0. They've got a rematch with Red Bank this week. Got a 24-7 win over them earlier this year. And I know Jeff and Keaton Herrig have to be primed and ready for that one.
Yes, they do.
And so going finally down to West Tennessee, I know I mentioned that MUS got a big win over Catholic this week, and then they face Montgomery Bell Academy this week, but also looking at several other teams in that area. Dyer County being one of them. Close to my hometown, they're 10-2 right now. They face Henry County, which is also 10-2 right now. So a big matchup in 5A there between the Choctaws and the Henry County Patriots. And then, of course, in 6A, guys, I talked about it last week, and it's primed and ready for a big showdown this week between Whitehaven at 10-1 and Houston at undefeated 12-0 with Martavius French, Tamarian McDonald, Bryson Eason, and so many other playmakers across the board for those Whitehaven Tigers, and then the Houston Mustangs with their star running back, Lincoln Pear. So I think that right now it's going to be a fantastic showdown down there in the 901 between those teams. And then, of course, like I said before, with MUS and MBA rounding things out down there in Memphis. So just a fantastic slate across the board.
It sure is. Playoff, this third round, it's getting serious.
Yep.
All right, guys, when we come back, we're going to set things up. We're going to do a few picks from a few games that we think will be the matchups of this week.
Yes, sir.
It's playoff time again, guys. Week number 3.
It's the most wonderful time.
We'll be right back here on Your High School Sports as Jake sings us out.
Not well, I might add.
You are watching Your High School Sports, the source for football in the Southeast.
I'll tell you what, at Bachman Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac right here in Greenville, we've got the savings. You want them? Like I said, we've got them. How about saving up to $12,000? That's right, saving up to $12,000 $1,000 on a brand new 2019 Chevrolet Crew Cab Silverado with the All-Star Package. Make the short trip to Bachman Menard Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, right here in Greenville, where as always, you know it, I'm gonna save you money.
Welcome back to Your High School Sports. Okay, guys, we're going to set up a few key games. And the only way that you will know what we pick is you got to go to Friday morning.
Watch Friday morning.
Yes, sir.
Friday morning.
Because we got to take time to think about it.
Yeah, but there's some good games coming up. So we're just going to throw out a few games that if you're in the neighborhood, go check them out. Like Jake's going to Innsworth and McCallie.
Yes, sir.
Chris will be at Greenville and Elizabeth.
See, I thought about going to that one, but I knew that the company didn't need to double dip. But man, that's going to be a big
No, you're
one.
going, Innsworth, that will be a good game.
Yeah.
It'll be a good game. All right, okay, guys. A couple key games in the division. Private schools, McCallie, Innsworth, MUS, and MBA.
Yep.
Big games?
Yes, sir.
Any comments?
I think NBA right now, they're dangerous. Their record is very misleading with the way that they're playing right now, especially, after that win over Baylor last week.
All right, we're going to jump into the classifications now. 3A. Don't have to mention that one. You said Covington and Wooddale.
Yes.
Big game. But there is a big game at the top. We won't talk about that, but the Tornadoes,
Yeah,
they will blow.
Yeah, they keep blowing.
Yeah, we won't have to worry about them. They're riding high. 4A. Let's see. 4A is going to be Elizabeth and Greenville.
Yeah, that's the
That's the big game.
Yeah,
That's the big game.
Mark on it.
And that's pretty much it.
That's all eyes for that classification
All
on that one.
4A. 5A. There's 2 games in the 5A classification, all in Knoxville.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Well, I tell you,
it's
that's my
the
goal
rematch,
ball.
yeah.
There you go. There you go. Still getting 6, okay?
All right.
Knox
you keep
Central and
thinking
South
that.
Doll. Right quick. And then Powell, Knox West.
Yep.
Oh, it's
Another
gonna be good.
rematch.
It's
Remember we
gonna be
talked a
good.
little bit about
Yeah.
rematches.
We
It's gonna
did.
be good.
They're showing it
Rematches
right now.
So make sure you tune in Friday morning, 11 a.m. on Your High School Sports.
Yes, sir.
.com. I almost said it, Victoria. She's sitting over looking at me. All right.
Hey, don't
He's gonna
forget,
give her a
about, don't
point.
forget about 6A, what I said with Whitehaven and Houston now.
I'm leaving it alone. You want to talk
All
about
right.
that in a quick pick.
All right.
All right. For Jake Nichols, for Chris Reddick, I'm Roddy Woods, and Victoria sitting in Jake's corner. We'll see you next week right here on Your High School Sports. It'll be week number 4.
Of the playoffs.
Week number 4. It gets serious.
Yep.